it's Lael here. I thought I would carry on. I had so many questions about the embellishing machine this last week or so that I thought I'd keep showing you some of the bits and pieces that I've made over the time, what you can do with it. This is a little purse I made, so just so you can see how it works. I've used all sorts of bits of fabric and bits and pieces inside, and the inside is wool felt, black wool felt, and you can see where I've pushed it through to the other side. So, and if you find interesting fabrics when you're pottering around, so this is a sort of chiffon one that I found. It's got a lurex line through it, and I made the beads by making a long piece on the embellisher and then rolling them up and making them into a little handle here. So it's a little bit not sure how effective it is, but that's that one. And then I've done another one. This is a patchwork one. So you've made your big piece, cut it all up into, just imagine, you know, here I am pretending to quilt. So I've cut the shapes, cut it up and then put them back down. And that's a lot of sari, different sari ribbons that I've put on and put onto that. And then I've hand stitched them on. If you look on the back, you can see where I put the fabric down and all I did was push it through in that grid structure, and then I stitched on it. So it's quite effective as a little quilt type thing with lots of potential really. And here I've taken a paper napkin, and this is a paper napkin with a glass of wine on it, and you can see that I've put it onto. My backing is white felt, and I've embellished the paper napkin onto it, and over the top I've laid fusible webbing, gossamer fuse, which I have painted first. So you can see the texture from the fusible webbing gives wonderful texture, and then I've just machine stitched it in places. I've also got bits of foil just sporadically popped in over top of the gossamer fuse, the fusible webbing, just a little bit to highlight it. So that's something else you can do. Then I'm not sure what that's doing there, let's ignore that one. And then I've got another piece where I've used velvet, and that's the back. I've put bits in, you can see here, I've done my name, and I've put my scrim on the back and worked it through within the structure of having stitched my initials. So you've got that very textury sort of surface. You could do more or less. And then I've put velvet on over top of a surface, and I've actually put that little cord that I often make on the machine just with thread, and I've swirled that up and put it back onto here. I haven't worked the velvet onto from behind, so it's all this piece of velvet. And then again, I've put something that also I've made. So you keep all your scraps that you do, put them down, and then you can stitch them on to make little borders. So it works quite well there. And just coming back here, just to find some of my pieces. And here I have put little circles. You can see the back is easier to tell what you're looking at. In actual fact, the back is quite exciting. So I've got felt, it's Coonan felt, and then I burnt it out later on with my soldering iron or with my heat gun. And you've got the wool on there, and then on the top I put some knitting all around it. That's that I've just stitched a bit of mucking around and cords and things, and put chiffon over the top, polyester chiffon over the top, and burnt it back. So it's like that on that side, but actually I think that's much more exciting myself after all that. And then I have just, Coonan felt does stick to itself, and if you take something like a pattern and pop it down here, so again there's my felt, there's the felt on the back, and you can see where I've worked through it. And I've got polyester or chiffon polyester on the top, but I've got layers to try and get. I was working with tiles at that stage, so you can see the bits and pieces to get, but it's not in your face, because with this machine you can keep knocking it back. I can come back in if I want to and add some lovely hand stitching here to bring it all back up again. So it's a nice murky sort of ground floor, you know, people walking all over it. Again, that's the same one that I must come back and work the bit. If you look at it carefully, you can see where I've done the shape of the tiles and things in there. So that's that one there. and then I make up whole pieces. And here these ones have been put down as in a little patch of sort with scraps and things, and lots of stitching. You can see all the stitching on the back, big fit, and then I've worked it back through with the machine to push those threads back in so they don't stand out. And then I took another little piece that I cut up, hand stitched it all, but that's all made on the embellisher to make a little bracelet, and I've beaded it and so on. So it's another quite effective thing to do. And finally, this one here, whoops-a-daisy, is again making a piece with fabrics that you've got and fibres underneath and so on, and then cutting them up and using them as little pieces to put on the top. You can see very subtle how I've put the stuff through. So I made these separately and put them on. And the background, when you ask me, is fusible webbing with gold foil on the top of it. How effective is that? So there you are. I hope, and a few little bits and pieces of stitching. I hope that's given you a few more ideas to play with this fabulous machine. I've heard that a few people have actually pulled them out of the boxes and just getting ready to have a play. So never be afraid to play with it and enjoy it, and that's what it's all about. So I'll see you again another time. Bye.